What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Golden Dice Podcast, episode number 23. Our bi-weekly shenanigans are going. Flock is starting with the boot, Brian's starting with some water,
Boot.
and Scott's starting with some Coke. And then I'm starting with a Michelob. Not quite to the extent of Flock's.
I got some scotch back here too.
Wow. Dude,
Nope,
how about
pass that.
You also have
Pass
some
that.
Febreze back there.
I got
Are you huffing Febreze?
it goes Star Wars Destiny box, Febreze hard liquor.
It's Charlie when he's
It's-
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyways, and not to dive deep into Flock's.
Yes,
do
you
bring
are.
that to lunch
You are.
or to work?
Ignore him.
I bring this to lunch, or bring this to work for lunch.
Yeah, perfect.
That probably makes sense why they have a nickname for you.
Yeah, it's true.
His nickname's right on the box. It's the child.
The child. Yeah. Anyways, how are we all doing this week, Brian? How's your last 2 weeks been since we last podcasted?
Solid. Not really a lot of changes. Not really a lot of playing SWU either, truthfully. Just the one session. I've kind of been skipping the weeklies just because I'm so tired in life in general. Well, I mean, because if we do Monday, Tuesdays like we've been doing, it's like late nights at the best of 3 weeklies, and then we've got soccer at like stupid hours of the night, which are not, key for a near 30-year-old dude who's out of shape to do. So skipping those, play at your house, but then skip at those. So not a lot of SWU going on for me.
I don't want to hear this bullshit. I'm near 30. I'm fucking near 40. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How old do you think I am, Brian?
We had this conversation like
every time.
two times a year. 2 times a year probably. And I always forget. Are you like 37?
There you go.
Look
Are
at
you
that.
really? Oh shit.
Mhm.
I always think that you're closer to us.
No, I'm not. I'm closer to Tommy.
That makes
Tommy and I
sense.
technically went to high school together.
What was the Great Depression like?
Anyways.
It was frustrating. Yeah, there was a dirt bowl. It was a whole thing.
Yo, Brian's just out here yapping to start the podcast. Flock, how's your past 2 weeks?
You said I don't, so I should.
Past week's been good. I haven't played much SWU, unfortunately. But been theory crafting some stuff that I want to play, mess around with.
Fuck.
I don't know if we're gonna get to that, but yeah.
You have to bleep me.
And
10
Scott,
seconds in.
what about you?
I put in my notice at work yesterday, so I did nothing today. I played Jedi Survivor today. That's pretty much all I did today.
It's a good day.
I gotta finish that.
It's a good day. But there's no emails. That was fine. SWU. We got the 1K this weekend at Red Caps. Not for you.
I think you're the only one going.
Yeah.
Right,
What's with the? I don't know where they actually are on the screen, but I'm gonna point there and there. What's with you two? Why aren't you going? He's got an excuse.
They're both bums, is what it comes down to.
Yeah, I didn't really go. I'm seeing the Phantom Menace in theaters.
Brian knew about a thing for 2 months, but now made plans for something he found out a week ago.
That sounds about
Well,
right.
I can't
That
do
sounds
the thing
about
I knew
Brian.
about for 2 months because of a plan I made a week ago.
Makes sense.
I'm okay.
Why aren't you? Are you away, Flock? No. Yeah, you have something that day. That's right.
He's
Yeah. Girlfriend
Uh,
got me whipped.
and
poor
this
girlfriend.
this idiot gets married on May the 4th.
I know, like that day was great, and then hindsight, it's like I'll never be able to participate in Star Wars Day.
Yeah, you really should have thought that one through.
Pretty great day, actually. I'll back him up on that.
Yeah, it's because you're not hitched to it for forever.
Yeah, I just got to hang out for free.
Yeah, you got to have a party.
Anyway, not that I remember.
Yeah, what
Well,
have you
yeah.
been up to, Jack? How about you? How's your 2 weeks been?
it's been fine. I haven't played. I haven't been to weeklies the last 2 weeks. My gameplay has just been when Scott and Brian came over when we played some, and then Shane coming over and playing some. And yeah, so I've just gotten a handful of games that way. Like knowing I didn't have anything immediately coming up, I wasn't pressed to get like some crazy
I
games
mean,
in.
first
but-
Showdowns start
Is it-
now.
Yeah, there's some showdowns coming up, and I almost got nervous. Tuesday, we're recording Thursday night. Tuesday night, I thought my kid was about to come like 3 weeks early, so I was like, all right. Not only am I just like underprepared for that, I'm gonna miss all the store showdowns I bought tickets for because I bought them for all early May. 'Cause
Priorities.
I was like, they'll get kicked back. Oh, Brian, don't talk to me about priorities. Let's
Priorities.
calm down here, buddy. But then I would have just, I would have been able to probably play one at the end of the month. Like I probably would have been able to do red caps, whereas right now I'm probably not going to do red caps. Red caps is the 25th or whatever that
Priorities your child.
last
In
Saturday.
case that wasn't clear.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought SWU was.
No, legally speaking.
Yeah.
Legally
One is-
speaking.
One he's
Which
legally
child?
obligated to
Shane
support.
listening. We know this.
I would like to see the child.
We know this. Me and Nerd Parker from SWODB, Force Unlimited. We talked about this. He did that meme where it's like the two bro arms like grabbing. It says, "Just Jack and Nerd Parker. Wives don't listen but fully support." But yeah. Anyways, so we got some of that stuff coming up, which is exciting. Excited to see how Scott does at the 1K, and then we've got 3 showdowns coming up that I'm at least registered for. This Sunday, next Friday, next Saturday. So,
Yep.
Which one's this Sunday?
all things video
All
games.
things video games.
Okay, that would make sense. I was like sitting there, I was like, I don't think I registered for one on Sunday. I have Phillies tickets, but it's gonna rain, so maybe I should go to that.
Maybe. I mean, you're also coming off the 1K, so you can see how you feel. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, and it seems like a good idea when you register for things. You're like back to back weekend full of SWU, and then you're like back to back weekend full of having to go places.
So pre-release weekend, right? That's how we all kind of felt.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
yeah, over ambitious.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially because following up, like, I mean, I don't know what your next weekend looks like, but we got 2. We got the War Gamers and then Banner soon.
Yeah, I got those.
So you got you still have those 2 coming up, which is actually surprising because a lot of people, and I guess it depends on Asmodee reps, but there are a lot of communities who are like, none of my stores have scheduled anything. The only thing scheduled is the May 4th events essentially, and a lot of stores didn't have them.
Yeah.
But I guess our like Asmodee rep in this area is a little bit more on top of it of pushing it because we had some stores like. I mean, we probably registered for these events, what, like 2 weeks ago? For the store showdown
Yeah, like-
specifically?
Yeah.
a fair bit ago, to the point where I've forgotten about them.
Yeah.
I've
I
given
didn't
my
realize
money
it was
away.
this
I've given
weekend.
the money away. The
Yeah.
money's gone.
It,
But
Jack
I
this
just-
week was like, we should really get some games in for Sunday, and I was like, what's Sunday?
Yeah, I even said
thought it
that.
was- I thought it was next
Sunday.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't realize.
which is
No,
Mother's Day,
I
so-
also didn't realize it was May.
It's gonna be May.
Yeah.
Like May just kind of came out of the blue.
Yeah, April flew by.
Yeah, April was
Actually.
weird.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, we're here and we're ready to go. So I almost want to this is a decent segue into what I want to talk about in the beginning is
It's
like
a shitty segue, but
what,
that's a nice try.
what we're playing. And this doesn't necessarily mean because we'll probably get into a little bit about like what we're likely to play. This upcoming weekend, Scott with the 1K, us with the Showdown. But like what you've been playing, any cards that surprised you, any leaders, any interactions that you thought were neat, or like I don't know, anything around that. And I'll give you guys a second, I guess, to think, and I can kick off for us. But
He's going to just slobber all over Churrit. That's what
that's where I'm going. Well, I also had to get in before Flock was like, "I'm Church really cool," because that's what he does.
I
to
like
me.
him.
So Jack, I can save you like 5 minutes if you want to skip ahead. Jack's gonna talk about Churrit. Scott's gonna talk about Palpatine. Flock's
No.
gonna talk about Churrit.
No, Scott's going to
And I'm
talk
the wild
about.
card.
He's already talked about Palpatine. He's got to go with Han.
No, I'm not.
No.
He's got it.
No.
I'm not bringing him. I'm talking about what you've been playing.
That's fair. That is true.
That is
I
the only new
said
thing
that-
you've been
that
playing.
doesn't mean
so
you have
that is
to
that is the
bring
only new
it.
thing.
That is
That's
true.
fair.
So, anyways,
Oh.
I've been playing a lot of Churrit. You've probably seen on our YouTube page. There's at least
Every other video.
one game
Every-
a week of Churrit. He's just been really good coming out at 5, playing with Tarkentown. And just the force package of like red blue is really good. A force throw, it binds all things, the force is with me, and then you get like Jedi lightsaber as well. And then you just blue has like a solid top end for mid range with Luke and Redemption, and the deck is just done really well. And some of the surprising stuff, I've got 2 Vigilance in there. I know that has skyrocketed since Florida. And I know people might typically look at that as like just a control card, But honestly, even healing the 5 and defeating a unit for 6 has been relevant in some aggro games. And the other one I want to shout out is my boy Baze. If you haven't tried Baze yet, especially with Kanan, he's there pretty much to help with the Boba matchup. The Boba matchup can be one of the worst ones you have. But if you drop Baze with the initiative and give him +2 and he's a 2/7 Sentinel with grit, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Seems pretty good.
He might not trade with some stuff, right? Like he might not trade with Steadfast, but if he just eats the entire Steadfast, you're not too angry about that because then you can Tarkin Town it back and then it dies. And so that was essentially Boba's turn of Steadfasting, only readying to because he probably had it deployed and then immediately Steadfast unless he like shot first or something. But yeah, so like him a lot. If you are somebody who enjoys like a 1.5 deck, definitely check it out. The links or the YouTube videos always have links to the deck lists and whatnot in them. But I mean, this deck, like, I love going both routes of like A-Wing or Sabine into Wing Leader into like Forces with me. Has been some pretty funny plays, right? That can get punished by Traitors or Waylay or things
Funny,
like that.
yeah.
But there's a Traitors, yeah. Brian triggered off that. There's some really fun plays that you can do. Obviously, you can walk into some stuff, but obviously keep in mind of you're playing against a green deck. Maybe don't give 4 experience tokens to one of your 3 or 3 or less cost units that you're buffing up. So, but yeah, really fun and it's very
and if
satisfying.
you do, make sure you have initiative into the round of 5. You know, where they got 5 resources. So
Yeah.
at the very least, you can attack with it.
And I do a Fang Fighter in the sideboard, so, you know, if you want to start main decking that or something like that. And which that could be an argument for because that Vader blue deck is popping up and that runs entrenched. And if your turret gets entrenched, you will be a very sad boy. But yeah, I've had games where I've hit turret for like 8 on some swings, right? Like a Jedi lightsaber into Forces with me the next turn and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. That's what I've been playing. And makes me very happy. I bought a showcase and you can actually kind of see it floating right there. Just a little bit. But yeah, so that's what I've been playing.
Just the tip.
And I guess, well, before we move on, it's like done well at the weeklies we went to a few weeks ago too. So like, not just like it's a homebrew, kind of janky but fun. Got to EXO twice. I think one was 3 rounds, one was 4 rounds. So it is something that can help you win your locals if you're looking for something different there too.
It's capable. It's nice. Like the hit, him getting with the force throw.
Mm-hmm.
So, because he gets
strong.
access to it early with his flip, and he gets access to it like because he's going to be there for the round for the most part. You have like the time to do it. It's not like he's going to come out and, with the exception of getting hit with a takedown or whatever, he's not going to come out and then immediately go. He's going to have the opportunity to leverage that.
Yeah. Earliest leader and all the units before him are usually pretty squishy, or like units are easier to deal with too. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, who's been playing what? What have you been liking?
You made me play Han.
You kind of liked it. Don't lie. You
I
liked it,
didn't.
Squidward.
I didn't hate it. It was good. It was good. I mean, Han's like he's kind of like a Boba Fett in that he is a tempo play. Like it is not. Boba Fett gets described as a mid-range deck, but Boba Fett is more of like I hit my turn 5 and I really win the game on that turn. Even if you don't actually win the game on that turn, you just get such an advantage that it snowballs from there. And Han is kind of like the same way, where he's trying to hit that 7 so far forward of what the opponent is getting to there, and then he's trying to just like ride that advantage that he gains there to win. Because Han himself is not a very impressive stat line at the 4/6. But when he comes out around early, which he can always guarantee because of his ability, his pre-flip ability, then he's relevant at least for that round. But he's really just about getting you to play that 7 cost, on their 5, on their 4, or something along those lines, and just riding that out for the rest of the game and just figuring it out from there how to close out. So I think he and Boba Fett play in that kind of same vein of like, yes, they are quote unquote mid-range decks because they are not control decks and not aggro decks, but they're just a little bit different than like a mid-range deck like Luke, who is just like, I play in this, mid-range, as opposed to like I got to do something specific on a specific turn.
Any like big standout cards? Because and you were also playing on Echo Base and not ECL, and I know you just kind of took what was it, Thork's list, I believe, from
Yep,
his most recent like tournament run, and yeah, how did that feel? I guess because that is, I'm sure, a question mark, a point of contention, especially
I
like within
mean,
the Han.
I get it because you just like if you look at the list, there's just not that much that you're like, I really want to ECL this out.
Hmm.
Like, just kind of where you're living at. Like, oh, there could be some things where you're like, no, but no, it's like because you're trying to like ramp past to 7, and you're missing the ECL there, so you might as well just take the 5 extra life.
And a lot of stuff has like you the Rogue Squadron
Yeah, a lot of
skirmisher.
stuff. Yeah, it's like there's too many things in there that have ambush. It's kind of like the problem like Wedge Antilles has, like, oh, he gives all your vehicles ambush. It's like, but all the vehicles I was going to play have ambush already.
And if it's in space, there's a good chance I might not get to use ambush because.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, space units, the ambush to space units is significantly less valuable because there's not always space units.
Yeah.
You can more often guarantee that there's going to be something in the ground. But no, it was a fun deck. I, obviously like can see how Han has had some like decent tournament results, but I can also see why Han is having the tournament results he's having, which is usually like he might be like one of the top 8. He might sneak in there, maybe he might spike something occasionally because he just doesn't have as like unfair of he doesn't have like the Boba is just a little one is around earlier typically speaking, um, and is a little bit more impactful, whereas like Han, not all the time.
Hmm.
And like the burning your hand out for the resources can bite you in the end.
Yeah. Hey, set 2, smuggle. Han
Yeah,
stonks go
that.
up, get a little extra hand in there.
Yep.
Um, yeah.
Put it in the resources. Play it from the resources.
Cool. Brian, Tyler.
Brian can go.
Okay. Um, I've been muting and unmuting because this. Yeah, I know. So I actually have swapped over to Hero recently, and by recently I mean like 3 days ago. And I've been playing Sabine Green Bean, and
Wow,
yeah, I feel dirty. I
you're
feel gross.
inventive. You're
I feel dirty.
you're such
You're playing
a,
You're playing Palpatine for the same list you've been playing since May.
you're
It's
such an
May,
yeah.
March.
I
Since
made
May,
it.
yeah, it was a
It's
day ago.
I'm telling you, I don't know where I'm at. Yeah, no, I had a big like opposition to playing Sabine Green, Boba Green, Iden Green. And I was like, I'm just gonna give it a try, give it a shot. Because I'm thinking about all these events and how I've brought Palpatine, I've brought Control, I've brought whatever, and I'm going to time every single best of 3. Whether it's my fault or not, I don't know. It could be. There's a pattern there. I'm sure it's my fault, but and I just quite frankly don't feel like going to time this weekend. I would like to play fast, play smart, play hard. Uh, all 3 of those things I don't do in any aspect of my life, so we're gonna figure it out. But I've been playing Sabine for like the last 2-3 games I've played, and I'm starting to
There's a
see
lot of
the
reps though.
yeah I've got maybe 3 reps. So I'm feeling really good about it. I'm feeling really
Really an effort on
going
it.
into this weekend. I'm feeling so good. Um, No, but I'm not entirely taking this one all that serious, just because of the circumstances I haven't really played. Um, but anyway, what I've been playing, I watched the Sabine on Sabine from the 5K in Kissimmee, whatever, and really liked the inclusion of Zeb for ECL, ECLing Zeb and completing that, wiping 2 units off the board potentially. It's pretty good, pretty huge. I do need to figure out how to do, and not how to do, but when to do the pings and when they're most advantageous and when not to, screw myself out of a good situation and kind of just learning the tempo and the pacing and when to do what. But I understand why it's a popular, strong, you know, much played deck. So
Are you kidding me, dude?
we'll.
Are you kidding me? I
I
I said Zeb, dude, and you said Zeb question mark.
I
Why?
did.
And now
I
you're
did.
here saying you watched the Florida, and you're like, wow, that seems really good.
I didn't see
Are
you
you
do it.
kidding me?
I didn't see you do it. You gave me the idea.
Are you
You
kidding
you
me?
said it a long time ago.
Are you
But
kidding me? He's also,
uh,
I think, a beefy boy in some other matchups too. I think
mhm.
he can be nice into like more recently, if you see Gamorrean guards pop up, or even like potentially some of the Childs in games, if they don't get him to go all the way, if he's just a 4/4, he could be pretty nice into that stuff.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I almost want him to be scooted into the main board, you know? I kind of want to put him where I have a different, you have a different card in. It's not my list. None of these are my lists. The lists that I win with are not my lists. And that goes for anyone I take. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. I want to explore that a little further, but I do feel dirty doing it. It's not my first choice. It's not my favorite choice, but that's where I'm at. So
I mean, you got 5 games. Don't sell yourself short. You 2-0'd me when I was on Sabine Yellow, and then I 2-1'd you with Churret.
mhm.
But that
What
was
was the
a
other one?
game where you learned a lot, because
Oh,
that
it's
was
being
you did like a
yeah.
bad ECL
hmm
that didn't like really serve any purpose, and then
Right,
you lost initiative sometimes because you wanted to ping instead of keeping
right,
initiative, and that let me like open my turn dealing with your stuff.
right.
And I think that's one of the big skill differences in Sabines is like knowing when to ping, knowing when to just like take initiative, because initiative's gonna be so important, especially in like mirror matches, other aggros,
Mm.
against Leia and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I
'Cause
can't
if
wait
you
to
don't-
see that Sabine Churret and Jack Tarkentown Sabine.
Yeah,
So
okay,
that would
but
be so when that gameplay comes out, that'll be 3 bases that you mess up. I can't wait for it.
Flock,
I did let
when's
myself
the
get
last time you
jetted
beat me?
twice this weekend. That's a good
Last time
question.
I beat you when I played Luke double aspect vigilance and you played Hera,
Hmm.
and I swamped you, dude.
So I gave you the win by my deck choice.
I mean, it's not like he was lighting up the world there.
Yeah,
I would bet Mono Blue can consistently beat a Hera.
I don't know about that.
Well, when Flock plays, he's got 17 vigilance
Well,
in
I
the deck.
also sparked his hand, and he literally had like the 3 best cards you could have in that situation. And I was like, I don't know what one to take. Well, it was a Forces with me, it was an Obi-Wan, it was a Vigilance,
yeah.
and then I did it again, and you literally had like the same 3
I
cards.
had
It was
well,
like,
no, I
cool,
had
bro.
no. The next time you did it, it was 7 resources or 6, and I had a Luke, an Obi-Wan, and a Forces with me.
Yeah. Nah,
Hey,
dude,
it
money line.
helps to be,
I'm
it
taking
helps to
Luke.
be flocked.
I'm taking Luke. But yeah, so that was like a month ago. Anyways.
Yeah, I haven't played for a while. Yeah, been
Yeah,
busy.
I know you missed the last 2.
Last 2 or
Ew.
3 sessions. Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts from you, Brian? And then we'll kick it off to Flock, see what he's been playing.
I've said
The
enough.
Flockmaker. He just said he
What
hasn't
have you
been playing, so how could he have anything to play?
I mean, I've been theorycrafted, played a little bit. I have like a webcam game I play and stuff like that.
Bro,
So sorry
the
for the
people
next
want to
5
know.
minutes you're about to hear.
I
He
said the
plays
people want
against
to know.
himself on
Flock's
webcam.
theory
So my-
crafting.
So I could talk about Churro, but like,
Churro.
yeah, Jack already talked about it. I've been playing it. I've been
I
really
can put
liking
my
it.
headset down now, right?
Jack's been telling me to play it for a while, and I've been like, no, and then like I played. I'm like, I see why he told me I would like it. So I like Churro. But the other one I've been working with is a Tarkin blue Tarkin, I'm messing with, because I feel like it could potentially do some good stuff. Because I put in regional governor with Emperor's Royal Guard to get more of those officials with cell blocks. That'll probably help me with like aggro. Same thing with Del Mico in there. I think Del Mico is really, really good. A 3/3 with restore, and they try to play an event, cost 1 more. So, but the whole point of the deck is to get Gideon Hask out because he comes out at 5. Also an Imperial, so like not only getting experience tokens from like killing enemy units, but you can also give experience tokens with Tarkin. So been messing with that, kind of liking that, and then put some late game stuff in there. So that's like the theory craft that I've been doing right now with Tarkin Blue. Still liking the Cassian deck. I think it's very, very good. It probably loses to Sabine or Leia, but I think it can go into other stuff pretty well as well. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing.
Yeah, Shane
The cat is
played the
going to
Cassian this
town
week.
on itself there, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cat is going crazy.
Although seeing Shane's Boba deck, Boba Blue, I was like, yo, Boba with Vigilance could be pretty good. You know, pay 6, so then you get to stand 1, sometimes even 2, and do something else. So I was like, because I mean, if you play Vigilance, you automatically get to remove one of their units with the -3, so then you can auto stand at least 1. So I was like, oh,
Well,
that's pretty.
Boba deck running both cunning and vigilance.
I know, like, I think that's pretty good. But yeah,
Not
it was
quite
interesting.
as sold on that, but maybe. I think Boba's craziest thing is that he can be a 4/7 coming out a turn early because he plays green with resupply and.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't
Amazing.
know what they like with the stats on him coming out when he does. You're like 4/7, what the hell?
Yeah, I remember them originally saying some, and I don't remember if we talked about it before, but something along the lines of like his ability can be harder to use at times because you need cards to take advantage of it. Which like sure I've run into that situation where like I stand a resource and I can't really do much, but also just a 4/7 that very likely stands 2 at 5 is very very good. So I don't know. They also did seem surprised. I think in some of the maybe it was like the FFG official stream kind of post launch. I forget who it was, Jeremy or Danny, just saying they were surprised at like how dominant Boba was to come out of the gate, but also that it was cool to see like control rise to meet him since his matchup into those control decks is very poor. And just kind of like, I mean, we got a healthy meta. Truthfully, like it's pretty good. I don't
It's
think
not that bad.
like you're probably every time you build a deck, you're like, all right, starting off, how's the Boba matchup? Like because you're gonna see that, and it's gonna be a top deck. But it's not like it's like the
No, it wasn't like
boogeyman.
that 1 week where there was like what an entire top 8 of Boba Fett.
Yeah, that was
That
those
was
UK
very
tournaments
much.
were like all Boba with their results.
Yeah, and that can happen. Like sometimes you can just have weird metas in like different areas, and they're historically you've had like differing metas in like Europe versus the U.S. in some games. But that just very much seemed like that was a like little bit of a groupthink type thing.
Yeah, and also it is too. Like, if you asked me, uh, you know, the week after the game came out, what deck I want to take, like it's probably Boba or Sabine. So then I'm probably just gonna take Boba because Boba historically has a better matchup
Yeah,
there.
that's. I mean, if
The
you are
control decks
if
weren't
even
explored.
yeah, even if you're asking, like just in general, like Boba is probably like Boba and Sabine among the decks are probably the easiest to get good results from. Like the easiest to start like kind of breaking into that like thing where you're doing like really well with them because they just do what they do and they're very powerful. And so you're like, all right, well, if those are the 2 decks that are easiest to get results from and one of them shellacks the other, I should take that one.
Yeah. And yeah, I almost think Boba sometimes just like oopsies his way more consistently to victories than Sabine does at times. Because Sabine, you can get really, I feel like you can get really punished by like lazy play and just like walk into certain removal types. Whereas Boba sometimes is just like, I have
I gotta
Bosk in
swap.
my hand, or like I have OB in my hand. You just have that the cards that you need on his flip turn.
Yeah, Sabine has like a narrow window where it's like if she doesn't get what she needs to get done in those turns, then she's not gonna get it done for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Where it's like if you just like if you walk like your A wing, if you don't take like initiative and you just walk your A wing into like a power of the dark side or something like that, it's like shit. Yeah, you're probably losing.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So pretty much, I mean, we've referenced the Florida event, and I think we can like jump in a little bit. If you're interested in these results, and if you haven't seen from the Florida 5K, this is like the biggest event that they've done. There were 143 players in Florida on April 21st, and again, I'll have that link in the description, but it's also ppgeventmanagement.com/Star Wars 5K top 16. And some of the notable things we'll mention going into this is they did post a total breakdown, and then they post the top 16 breakdown. So the total, there were 37 Boba Fett's, 24 Sabine, 15 Vader, 15 Iden, 12 Leia, 8 Palp, 7 Krennic, 5 Luke, 4 Inquisitor, 4 Tarkin, 4 Han, 4 Chirrut, 3 Chewbacca, 1 Thrawn, 1 Cassian. Any surprises? I'm not, except for like lower representation of like. I mean, I guess like 15 for Iden's still pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. I thought like you might have had a few more Chirrut or like Chewie was kind of like talked about a lot going into the event. Chewie Green.
12 Leia seems like a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of discourse of like what's the better deck of aggro between her and Sabine and the different strength. I mean, I still think just Sabine coming out a turn earlier and having ECL makes me like her a lot more than Leia, even though I do think Leia is good. And I also think Leia just loses that match, like that counter aggro matchup. So
Yeah, you just turn behind and you can't really leverage your Leia as much.
Yep.
Like it just doesn't really get you anything. No, I mean, yeah, the we were talking about it before the cast, like the unrepresented decks. I think the only one out of like the unrepresented decks that I'm like surprised about would be Hera, not because she's amazing, but just because she's better than the other two. And there's people like Jack who are Spectre guys or gals. Spectre persons.
she lost to Luke Blue. We're literally never playing her again. Luke Blue has to be the
True.
worst version of Blue.
And I was
Mono
piloting
Blue.
it.
And Flock of Planet.
Yeah,
Literally probably
it's a-
worse than Chewbacca and worse
There's
than
a piloting error.
than Chirrut.
Look, man, that's your own fault.
Yeah.
You let that happen.
I'm stoked to see all the Vader representation. I like Vader.
I'm not.
I'm just too afraid to. Oh, okay.
I like Vader Green. I think that's a cool deck. But if I have to play like against
A
this
fifth of
Vader
the-
Blue deck all the time, dude, just
A
end
fifth
me.
of the Vaders topped. Like I think that's fun.
Mhm.
I'm sad that there's only one Palp in the top. But I think Palp's a deck that you have to, know your matchups, know your reps, know what you're looking for. Have
I
that
mean-
that plan locked down top to bottom because I mean you fuck up once with you mess up Shrink, sorry. You mess up once with anything with Palpatine and people can just kind of run you over. If you don't do a turn correctly, if you fail to mitigate something, if you stack something you're not supposed to, I think that can spiral and snowball out of hand pretty quickly, as I found out. So
And apparently there was like some weirdness with the pairings where like all of the draws in round one where all of the double losses in round one got paired against each other in round two.
Because they technically did it as ties, even though they said they weren't going to for round one.
Mhm.
So yeah, going to round two, they paired all the tied players against each other, and then they fixed it going forward, but they didn't repair that round. So
No,
it was
but and they all tied because you basically had a bunch of control decks playing into control.
Yeah, they all got double losses again.
which is not like so like I have not gone to time in all of the events that I've played Palpatine, not once. So there definitely is like the ability to play it in time.
you're
The
playing the red package though too. Though I mean,
that's
you have
one.
a little bit of a
I am
different.
playing red.
Yeah.
I am playing red, which gives me like the ability to like actually kill my opponent at times. But the big thing is if like you are playing a control on control matchup and you are not both playing like understanding what you're playing into, it can drag. Like when you're like taking time when it's like they played a unit, you have remove the unit. Like, just or when people are like holding on to the game too long. Like
Yeah.
you've lost, you're way behind, like it's not happening, like you just need to be like, all right, let's go to the next game.
And to be fair, not all of those situations are readily apparent, right? Like I've done that sometimes. I've played some games where like I just didn't see it. I thought I could take it, and like that's not always intentional, or it's not always,
No.
An obvious line that, I mean, it's something to consider though. And sometimes scooping is the best, so you can play that game 3 and not get a double loss or, whatever have you. But
Yeah, sometimes it's tough mentally to just like say like, yeah, I lost. Like a lot of times you're like, I think I can, work my way out of this. Like, how do I do it? I think I can do it. I had this line of play. Sometimes it's like that you might have that opportunity, but like 10 things got to go your way and they got to draw bad, where it might be more strategically smarter to go, okay, I'm going to probably lose this game, 90% chance I'll lose, but if I scoop and go to the next round, I could possibly, if I start over, win that. So, but it's just tough mentally. Like, I probably have a tough time doing that. That's why I can't play Control, because if the game goes too long, like, I literally will try to do anything I can to win and won't know when I'm going to lose.
Especially as a Palpatine player, I've never know when to call it, because that's the whole point. Palpatine Blue just waits for its moment to strike, and then sometimes that moment never comes, and you don't know. But
Yeah, it's the plus side. Ruthless Raiders are never a bad play.
no,
Yeah.
Raiders are
Such a good
so
card.
good.
Such a
You're
good
winning,
good.
Ruthless Raider. You're losing, Ruthless Raider. It's
Yeah.
just, it'll get something
Yep.
done.
They are swing cards for sure.
Have any of you seen any gameplay of Control on Control Vigilance Restock?
No. And I'm kind of glad I haven't.
I've seen that it exists, and I was like, I just don't feel like watching it.
Because Restock, the way this game works is that the event's in the discard pile,
Yeah.
like before you resolve it. So you can.
That may
take
be a
the
little bit of
restock with
that might have been a little bit of an oversight.
And even
Yeah.
if they want to like keep it that way, maybe you see cards like Restock get changed to add 4 cards back to your deck, set this aside or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very, very, very interesting, because then it's like it almost can't end, and then there's almost like the mind play of, all right, if we both just did 3 vigilances, do I take an Avenger and then like win the game, because the only thing my opponent has right now is that. So, but I would. That's probably one of the reasons why I will never play red blue villain Control, because I don't ever want to be in those situations. I'd rather be done my game in 20 minutes with Sabine than having to play those.
And that's fine. I think that's a fair assessment. That's why I'm playing Sabine this weekend. I don't want to be stuck in,
I think you
Sometimes they go long.
because of the result of the event, going to see more people obviously pick up red blue Vader.
Yeah.
And they're not going to have enough reps in with it to play it in a timed environment.
Yep.
Because that's really, like, if you're running a control deck, you need to have played with it in a timed environment to play it in a timed environment, because otherwise you're gonna go to time. You're just gonna like play too slowly, play too lackadaisically, hang on to games for too long, and you're just gonna find yourself getting those double losses. So you're
You're
see
gonna
a
make
lot of-
people angry too. You're not gonna make any friends that way.
Yeah, but you're going to a 5K. I don't know if you're worried.
I'm there to make friends. The real 5K is the friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
I don't think
Brian
you
needs
should care,
friends.
like making friends or not. If they don't want to play into a
I
control
don't.
deck, they don't have any business going to like an event. If anyone really like gets pissed
Yeah.
off about what they're playing into at an event, it's like
Yeah.
the weirdest thing. But if you're going to time all the time, you're definitely not going to make friends, because you are if you're going to time all the time, you're the common denominator in that situation.
Brian.
Not every time.
I'll say it's definitely
I play fast.
It's
No,
there.
I mean,
and,
I mean, yeah, we've had we've gotten through 3 games. Like, it's just, yeah, sometimes it can happen, and if you don't want to put enough like reps into it to get past that, sometimes it can happen. Then you're right.
Sometimes the
Just
lines
don't
are
play
clearer
it.
than others.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, it's variance.
but,
Brian's
yeah, I mean,
fastest game was when he put cargo ship in his deck.
Cargo Juggernaut.
Or cargo juggernaut, yeah.
Yeah.
The forfeit.
Game loss. I mean, but yeah, speaking to
I cry every time.
there's 3 of these type of decks like within the top 16. There were 2 Vader blues and there was a Palp blue. So I mean, it's definitely viable. And then you could argue there was a Vader green and there was a Krennic green as well. They're not quite control in the true sense of like Vader blues, but I mean, you can definitely do it. You can get the reps, and time won't be an issue if you're playing and understand how the like those matchups go too, like what you're looking for, right? Some of those early rounds can definitely go by faster. It's the later rounds that might.
Yeah,
go
it's
to
if
the
your
tank.
early rounds are not going by fast, then you're probably getting yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things, like you need to bank time for the time when time is going to matter, like when you need to think. not when you're just like, they put down a nothing on turn 2.
Yeah.
It's not that deep.
And then I guess breakdown of the top 16 to help like frame some of this conversation too. Was 4 Boba Fett's, 4 Sabine, 3 Vader, 1 Palp, 1 Krennic, 1 Luke, 1 Leia, 1 Han, and it was pretty cool. The final was Boba versus that blue Vader, and the semifinals had all 4 different decks. It was Vader versus Luke, and it was Boba versus Sabine. So I mean, really cool to see like not only the diversity of the top, but the top 4 being all different decks. And just I mean, Luke Green was
some of
probably
that's
the
just
biggest shock
pairings.
to me.
Like 2 of the Sabines ate each other.
Correct. And also,
Yeah.
if there was, I need to see on the other. Yeah, I think they were on the top side of the bracket while the Vader was on the bottom. So Vader also got to avoid his worst matchup. I don't know where the Leia was. The PPG did the bracket by names, and I don't feel like connecting them all right now. I wish they just did one for the decks, but yeah, the Sabines seemed to eat each other. 3 were green, 1 was yellow, I believe. The yellow was spicy and had some like choices that made me want to like reconsider what's in some of them. Like he had a Lando on the sideboard. I think he had like 2 Chewies main deck and like some interesting things, and they're generally cards I dismissed. But yeah, I mean he top 16 here? Did he? No, top 8. He made top 8, and he also I think was like a finalist or semifinalist at the Atlanta 1K, I believe it was, like a week or 2 before. So, but yeah, I mean, super diverse, and I mean, I think this kind of cements like what our thoughts were of Boba's really good, Sabine's really good, Villain Control's really good, and then there's some other viable options in there too of the Han, of the Luke, of the Krennic, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I imagine Guy Cohen was probably licking his chops when he's like, "Ooh, I get a Boba Fett matchup in the top 16," and then goes to the finals like, "Ooh, another Boba Fett matchup." And it's the same deck because it was
teammates. Yeah, it was Mike and Andrew.
Tim and Andrew. So yeah, it's like okay, it's nice when that lines up. Like you do all the hard work to make it to the top 16, and you're just sitting there like, oh wait, good matchups. That's all you need to ride it to the end. Good matchups, a little luck, and then you can cash in all the hard work, because in a lot of times it's like getting to the top 16 is the more arduous battle, having to like dive through all of the muck.
Yeah. So knowing these results, I mean, I think kind of what we said we've been playing is likely what we'll take. So especially this Sunday, Saturday for Scott. Aside from Scott, because Scott will probably still just bring Red Palp to the actual event rather than Han. But knowing that we'll probably see insurgents of that, aside from the easy answer of play Sabine, like what do you think are some ways to like combat these Vader decks?
That is my easy answer. That's why I'm doing it. That's my easy answer.
I mean, that's like we are dealing with like a set 1 meta, so it is a little rock paper scissory. So if the answer is lots of control in your meta, then bring aggro.
You know what card I've been swapping around a lot?
What have you been swapping around a lot there? What are you looking
Vigilance?
for?
No, that's been actually the only deck that I even have that in is
$50 swap nowadays, huh?
Is Spark Rebellion.
Spark Rebellion is pretty brutal.
Good card.
It's a very good card. Force Throw, same thing, right? That's in, Force Throw I actually get to benefit from. K2SO, in a sense of his discard and not the damage, which is what I use it for in my control matchups in my Church deck. There's Force Surrender as well. I can't even remember the exact wording on that, and I'm going to say it before. I'm going to go look it up before I say something wrong. But there's definitely some things, like if you can hit that Vader's hand, I think you'll have decent success. And Force Surrender is draw 2 cards. Each opponent whose base you've damaged this phase discards 2 cards from their hand.
Yep.
So pretty good. So I've liked some of these things. And that makes actually Han, for me, interesting because he gets to run Spark Rebellion. And then even if you go into Han Red, which was the one Han in the top 16, you can run stuff like Like you could run Spark Rebellion, Force Surrender, K2SO. Now obviously you're hedging your bets very far into control, and you still want to have a good aggro matchup. So I'm not saying I have a 60 list that's of Han that's good necessarily into all those things, but it's at least like an interesting conversation for me now to see some of these cards see more play.
Yeah, but Han also gets really punished by Spark of Rebellion.
Yeah, hey, you spark, their spark, bro. Yeah. Yeah, there's a time when I force throw, you had like one card and you're like, shoot.
I was like, and I knew it was going to happen too. I was like, yeah, I could have just played this, and I just, sometimes when you don't play a deck, so don't bring decks to events that you haven't played before, unless the only deck that you've played before is like IG-88, in which case, bring a deck you haven't played before.
Okay, I'm playing IG-88 on Sunday. I'm gonna make top 8.
Bro, first time using the showcase in a
If
Premier
there
League.
only-
if you do
are
that,
there only 8
that
people
would be
going?
pretty. That
There's
would be
7
very
people.
impressive.
People
Seven.
don't know that.
That would be very impressive, Tyler.
This would
Okay,
be
I'm
the
doing
one to
it.
do that. This would
I'm
be.
doing it.
All right,
doing it.
Falcons
I'm
landed.
doing it.
I don't know. You saying that makes you kind of want to run Han Red, but I don't have the time to swap to that. But
Yeah, you do. You have 5 games on.
okay,
Yeah,
I'll
you're
run
not
Han
far-
Red. We can build a 60 after this.
Hey, yo. I'll help you.
I'll swap. I don't care.
You will. You will though. You'll like lose your first game someday and be like, oh, this is
I'm
dumb
out.
game,
I hate
dude.
this game. It's
This
stupid.
game's terrible.
My salt crown.
No, and yeah, I don't know. So for me, there's some interesting things with that of like if there's a way to like, yeah, hand disrupt and like Han is just super interesting for me. That feels, yeah, just underexplored. Like I wonder if there's like a good way, a Han deck that could be good into aggro as well, but not get, yeah, you like use the sparks and hand disruption for control, but still have like like if you can turn 1 drop an Ezra or something like that and bully up their ground arena or something in aggro, so it's still good. But
Yeah, I mean, Han has a lot of tools to deal with aggro in the sense that like the Falcon deals really well with A-Wings and stuff, and it's one of the few space units that does. And then obviously you can put it out early. Great responses to those things. So Han definitely does have some like inbuilt anti-aggro capacity on his own.
Yep.
And then like he doesn't get as punished for his low hero stats in the aggro matchup. Like it's not the 6 health versus the 7 health really doesn't matter as much. He's still gonna get to eat 2 things usually with that, so it's not that big a deal.
yep, and the 4 attack pretty much eats everything except for
Yeah,
Sabine
4,
on the other side.
yeah, you'd rather the 4 rather than you'd prefer to be a 4/6 rather than like a 3/7 in that scenario.
Yep. Other than that, like quick roundup. Speaking of Han, shout out to Garbage Rollers. Their Meta Mondays, they do their tier list changing as well, but they also do just meta recaps. And so this is actually relevant to what is on. So Thork won with Han Green beating Grand Inquisitor Green in the finals. There was an event in Poland, 24 people, and it looks like Han Green won that. This looks like Casino Han. The deck list is in there. He's got 2 Lukes. He's got a 97th Legion, 1 Mace, 2 Hans, and a Home 1 in his list. So he's in there. Some of the other stuff, it looks like other top 8. There was 2 Boba Greens, a Boba Yellow, Krennic Green, and then 1 Sabine Green, 1 Leia Red, and 1 Chirrut Red for that event.
Chirrut, I'm waiting.
And then there was another showdown that was won by Boba Green against Sabine Green in the finals, but we don't have any other info. There was a Chicago Win-A-Case 30-person event in which the top 4 did split, but one of them that we got the list was a Iden Green. He's got 2 Delmicos in the sideboard, Flock.
Dude, Delmico.
Nick.
Good card. I like it.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah, it seems all pretty standard. A Vader Green, the last thing was that Vader Green won a webcam tournament in the German Discord, which featured prizing by Asmodee Germany, which is actually very, very cool that they did that. But yeah, so that's everything aside from the 5K, and all those pretty much add up to what we're talking about. Like I think Han can definitely come in and win events, like we said, but I don't think he quite breaks into the tier 1 list simply because of like he can definitely get blown out by certain things. if you mess with Han's ramp, he can cry very, very much. Discard, exhaustion, all that stuff. Yeah. Any other thoughts on the meta, on where it's at?
No, it's just clean.
Cool.
I like it.
All right, we're at 50 right now. We got some podcast questions.
Oh shit! Podcast
Um,
question.
I got to bring them all. See, the downside of asking them in several different places is that I have to track them out.
Yeah, now you're just stuck.
Several different places. All right, so we'll start with Discord. Uncle Scott Inception wants to know what happened to the bald guy.
Yeah, what happened to that bald guy?
Yeah. How about the bald guy?
I don't know. Crazy.
Maybe next podcast we'll have the bald guy on.
Balding guy.
Maybe changes a weekly
We're
basis.
gonna scalp you.
Bald guy was pretty good.
Bald guy was pretty good.
Bald guy
yeah,
was
you lost some
I'll
of your
play.
edge now that you're not the bald guy anymore.
It's weighing you down, dude. Too much of your brain power is going to growing hair instead of.
True.
And it's not even growing that well, so I don't know what I'm doing.
It's just trying its best, dude. Trying its best.
I'm on borrowed time. I'm on borrowed time.
Jack, shake out your hair. Just
Oh, Jack, not me. I was
Yeah,
like, I
It's
can't.
in a bun. I don't feel like redoing it.
It's in a bun, he says.
Bro, if you go to a tournament that I'm at, round like 5 or 6, you'll see me take it out and redo it. So there,
Yeah.
that's.
If-
If you
I've
see
seen
me,
it. It's majestic.
if you see me
I
try to-
literally snapped my pocket comb in half trying to comb my hair yesterday. It was so thick and luxurious.
If you ever watched Adventure Time and you saw Finn take off his hat and it's all like that big long blonde mane, that's
Yeah.
what Jack looks like.
just not blonde. Not blonde.
Yeah, it's not blonde.
Exactly.
All right. So first question is from Christian in our Discord. Which card from set 1 profits the most from Tech's smuggle ability? Talking about in Premiere and Constructed.
So we should probably describe what tech smuggle.
Well, that's why I was bringing him up to read him. So we will have a separate spoiler review going through all the cards. So if you are interested in specific cards, I believe I'm not going to wait like I did before to post the spoiler on Monday because spoilers are coming in hot and fast.
Yeah,
I
we
definitely
just-
want to get them out. Like we have 28 to go over after this, but
Fuck.
I gotta fill up my boot.
yeah,
I guess.
we'll refill for that.
I gotta
Jesus
refill.
Christ.
But anyways, so full video on that if you're interested. But Tech, he has an ability that says each friendly resource gains smuggle. The gain smuggle cost is that card's cost +2 and its aspect icons. So pretty much any card in your resource you can play for 2 extra, essentially. And the aspect card. So you can't like bring stuff out of aspect and like play it for crazy or whatever. Like it's still within the aspects of your deck. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like I'm trying to think.
I'm thinking anything like mid to late range because you want to, and that's like worth its cost +2. So
Yeah, I'm trying to think of those like 6 to
Yeah.
7 costs somewhere around there.
yeah,
I mean, it's just like you got to
Home
think of
one.
things that like are going to go into that would end up in your resources because obviously you're not playing them early.
hmm
Like if you draw up a hand and you draw up your perfect hand, there's 2 cards in it that you're like, well, you got to go into the resource row. So usually it's the higher cost cards because you want to hit your curve and you're like, I'll draw into more. So you could say like something like in overwhelming barrage and stuff like that, where that might get resourced early, and then just having the ability to like, and oh, by the way, here's another one that I didn't necessarily
Doesn't it
think
need
I
to
would
have
have
its-
access to.
Doesn't it need to have its aspect, its villain aspect though? Wouldn't that be another?
Oh yeah, I'm
At a
thinking.
cost?
I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah.
thinking he's.
But
probably
yeah,
good
but
plus
the
2.
idea of
Yeah.
that can be
Yeah.
applied, maybe not specifically. Yeah, like my
yeah,
mind.
'cause
I
there's
think,
not really the hero version.
yeah. Unless there is
Pay 9 for it.
yeah. What was? Yeah. I'm trying to think of like the when played stuff that you probably resource early. Like, I wouldn't hate the idea of paying like 9 for Luke. If I can smuggle them out if they killed my Luke before that. If I
Yeah, the downside is it's like you've got to play him, you got to play tech, and then still have the resources for this other thing, or wait a turn.
you're likely. I mean,
That
+2. Yeah.
That can be the problem.
Yeah.
Where you're paying for him, 3 for him, and then also like your opponent's probably gonna kill him.
Yeah, the nice part is the 5 health, like 5
Yeah, the 5 health, it does matter. Like,
He can be takedown. He's bad.
True, dies removal.
takedown bad.
Get him out. So any other, I guess, specific cards before we, I guess, get hung up too much on?
I got a question. So like a card like Fleet Lieutenant, something where you can get instant like results from, could be interesting. Like 5 for a +2 if you need +2 to even win the game at that point or something like that. Like thinking of something like that, or like the Ghost, something that like I personally would want to play that card that's like a when played effect, either shielding something or even like an Obi-Wan, getting a unit that's a Sentinel or something like that.
Yeah, I think the Obi-Wan makes sense. I think in the case of like a Fleet Lieutenant, it's like, well, is that going to be in your resources anyway?
Yeah. Probably not. I was more thinking like Fleet Lieutenant came to my mind of like a card that has
Hey, it might be in your resources with all the smuggle stuff because it's coming off the top of your deck. You never know what's going to be in there anymore.
Yep.
I feel like it's hard to say without. Obviously, it's going to be my blanket soft answer. Like Phlox, it's good and limited. It's hard to say without the rest of the set, right? Because there could be a card that comes out and it's like you could minus the cost of the snuggle, right? Or there's some kind of caveat where like the snuggle's less. I don't know. So, but like
Yeah, because we've already seen one card that gets a better. It gets better if it comes out of snuggle.
Right. So I don't know. In a sense that like. Oh, if it's already snuggled though, that's different. But I don't know. It's hard to see if you're paying two more.
Snuggling is really weird.
And there was also a clarification: if the card already has smuggle on it, you now have the choice between this and the original smuggle. Like if you have tech in play, and yeah, it already has
snuggle.
Yeah, it can snuggle either way.
Thank you.
I don't know. That's a tough question. It's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think just like something to keep your eyes on, like 5, 6, 7 cost.
Yeah,
it's tough for hero too, because like this card, even though it's a 3 cost, feels more of like an end game card because that's when you want to like.
That's what it is. You don't want to if you play him at 3, like you're playing a 2/5.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
which
so
isn't the worst. It's not the worst, but like the problem is the attack stat is not relevant for that cost.
Yeah, and he also like if he had Rebel, it could be like, I could wing leader him next or something. But like generally, right now, what he is he'll just be a 2/5. Unless you put an upgrade or something on him, but
3, 4, 7. Oh my god!
And hero right now leans more aggro than it does like control and endgame. So that's like the tough part too. Of like, while he leans that way, we don't really have anything like crazy going on there. So maybe the set we get more of that.
I think Luke is probably the best answer as far as Rebel goes. Again, it's just the problem of all right, so you have to play tech, and then wait. Hope he doesn't die, and then Luke the next turn.
Mm-hmm. All right. On the next one. So thank you, Christian, for that. Next one, we got Pale. It says, what deck is everyone taking to the events for this weekend? We kind of talked about that a little bit.
Apparently it's on red. He said it.
On red. I'm already looking at the deck list from the 5K.
There you go.
IG88? Question mark?
Yeah.
Should I?
Allegedly.
Go for it. You're playing me? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. We're going to be at that event, Flock. Please run IG88.
Yeah. All right, I'll run IG88.
Absolutely.
Yo, if I beat you guys at that, ooh, that's going to be bad.
Probably Chirrut, I'm Wei.
Yeah, you're definitely running Chirrut, I'm Wei.
Yeah. Dude, it's me we're talking about. Let's calm down.
He is a Spectre
definitely
guy.
running something.
He's a Spectre guy.
I got Spectre
bring
in my
Hera.
deck. I got Hera in there.
I'm a Spectre guy, you know?
And then Scott, likely Pop Red.
No, it's not likely. It's what's happening.
99.9.
He has.
The chance he brings the wrong deck pod and brings out.
No, because I already took part the Han deck.
That's perfect.
That's commitment.
I love that.
That's dedication. You ever seen such dedication in a droid?
All right, cool. And then Stinger asked, with product shortage, how have you guys been trying to recruit new players? And is that storage because of Brian's lack of self-control? A little bit, but Brian also has funded like 5 people in our local community.
To be fair, I have
given back
2 or 3 full sets of rares.
Give it back to the community.
So, yeah. I mean, I am out. I have nothing left. There is nothing left for anyone at all. I have no extras. Yeah. So I did give back, and I did give boxes to people I don't know as well. So.
Yeah,
we like Santa Claus is slew.
We just had those empty boxes of commons and uncommons. We're like, Oh, you only got 2 boxes? Here you go. Here's the commons and uncommons.
They're like, "What do you want?" And I was like,
Nothing.
"Your
Yeah,
happiness."
please take
Yeah,
this
I
and
don't
don't
want-
return it
please-
to me.
Yeah, please get it out of my house.
Community, baby.
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, but actually, there's a stack, and it reminds you of how much of a problem I have. So please take it. I don't want it anymore."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I mean that's
that's-
obviously like the way to kind of get around that.
This is the way.
Yep.
And try to get your store to do a draft, I think, with the 3 boxes.
Yeah, to
they
actually
get.
do events rather than just sell the boxes for $200.
Yeah, and then it's hard to mix up like weekly play. Like it is the standard, when people go to stores, like they kind of half expect like a premier thing. So like sometimes, you've seen different like slow grow leagues, but obviously you can't do that with no packs. Or you've seen like I've seen it more with One Piece of people like banning certain leaders and stuff like that, which can very much change from store to store. Like I don't think our store would do that, but I definitely could see.
Yeah.
I could see another store in the area doing that. So, will depend. There's some things like that, but definitely like if you have extra commons and uncommons, like I know you could sell them for like a bulk, but even if you give it to them for like 15, 20 bucks or something, so that way you still get something. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at, but there's really not like too much you can do. Maybe if there's still 2-player sets, definitely send them that way because that's still a very good buy for anybody.
Yeah, I mean both the heroes in it are clearly very viable.
Yeah, both leaders were in the top 4 at the 5K.
Yep. Yeah, four of the top.
5 of the top 4
were five of the top 4. 5 of the top 4. But,
Fractions are my passion.
4 of
Yeah.
the top 16 were because it
Yes,
was
4
3
of the top
Vaders, one
16 were starter leaders.
All right, on to some Twitter questions. One we have from TCG Cast. Shout out to those guys, their podcast. If you haven't checked them out, be sure to do so. For any Destiny players, you probably remember Sugi, and that's who that is. And it says, how much can a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? This feels like a flock question that he knows.
A woodchuck all the way to could chuck wood.
Perfect.
That's the
Yeah,
answer, thank you.
you said it too. This seems like a flock question.
Yep, I knew it.
A flock would
I knew it right away.
Just without me ending the sentence, immediately pick it up.
Yep, we're good.
No
That's the
hesitation.
answer.
All right.
No hesitation.
Next question is from Twin Sons, who is Shane, who is in our gameplay videos this week. So shout out to him. Follow his Twitter, follow his YouTube. He's been doing
How dare you dox him like that?
pretty sure he introduces himself every every video. What's up, guys? It's Shane.
Does. What's up, brother?
What's up, brother? But he says, what card from set 2 that's been revealed so far are you most excited to build a deck around? For me, it's got to be like a Hunter right now because he's just so interesting. But like Tech's got to be in there. Like I want to build around Tech. Tech's probably my right answer. But Hunter seems interesting because we already got Echo then too, which works with it.
It's a trap.
It might be, but also like a 5/8, like isn't decent stat line. That's a Vader stat line with over.
Yeah, but it's a Vader stat line, but you'd rather Vader's ability.
Okay, so they talked recently, I think it was this week's stream, about how they wanted Wookiees in the game like immediately. So they released a card this week called Gentle Giant.
Gentle Giant.
I think? Yeah,
Gentle
Gentle Giant with as this. Well, we're not the spoiler episode, but 6/28 with grit, and you can heal with him. And
You
Chewbacca
heal your
seems
units
pretty
with
cool.
them, right?
Yeah.
Not the
Yeah.
base.
You heal your
You may
units
heal
with-
damage from another unit equals to the damage on that Wookiee.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I don't know. Something. I saw that card and I was like, I'm in.
Maybe I'm not selling my Chewie. Maybe I'm keeping him.
I am not selling my Chewie. I've decided.
the main downside to his heal ability is it is on attack. So basically, you have to like get him damaged and then attack with him, or say like attack something on one turn, then the next turn attack without them removing it. So
But
they're
it
definitely-
binds all things is a thing.
it
Repair
binds
is
all
if like
things is the things. Yep, they are.
I mean you can reduce, recycle.
Well, I think more so
and,
Scott's point
you
is
know,
that it's like not the turn you play him and not even like attacking with him.
if you play ECL, you can.
Got to be the next. Is he 6? So yeah, I mean like
You
Yeah.
could ECO him, but I'm saying he
Six.
doesn't have any
But it's-
damage on him.
it's still till the next turn. Like you
Yeah.
won't be able.
True.
So
True.
and so without UCL, you play him. Next turn you attack with him. Then it's not till the turn after that you'll be able to heal, unless there's like
After he's getting entrenched anyway, it's fine.
like a best defense type card, right? Like from Destiny. where
Yeah,
it's,
there
you
could
know.
be some. I mean, there are obviously a bunch of dark side events, dark side effects that damage your own stuff
Like a hero
to
death
get
trooper.
effects. There is not that much in the way for I don't know if I'm trying to think of any for light side at the moment, but if there are such things, then he is obviously like a prime candidate for that. But I do think he does present like a little slow.
Yeah. And there is like a half interesting interaction that like you mentioned it binds all things. I'm pretty sure that like you can move that to any unit, but I also wouldn't recommend healing your one unit to move 3 damage to another one of your units for 2. Like,
Yeah.
you probably just send it to them.
Yeah.
I know he's got grit and can heal, but I wouldn't recommend that.
Right.
All right, so I said Hunter, you said Gentle Giant. Scott and Flock, what'd you guys say? Did you say anything?
IG-11.
IG-11.
IG-11, that's a good one.
Yep.
The Flock, you the same thing?
Yeah, I'd say first light. I like that card.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
I love that it smuggles its cost, but the downside is the 4 damage to friendly unit, and you can give it to itself, and automatically with grit. Now it's a 8/7.
No, I don't think you can.
So it says a friendly unit, so it can't be it.
It's
friendly
it's a
unit.
cost to play it, so it's not in play when
So it's not play yet. Makes sense. Okay, but still, I still like that card even without that. But grit 4/7. Oh, I love it
each other friendly.
It's a 7. Yep, it's a 7 cost. You're probably gonna want to resource it early on. So the fact that you can bring it out for its original cost is good.
Ironically, it would be really good with that Gentle Giant.
Yeah,
Right.
that's funny. Cool. All right, on the next one from Michael, and says, what card or cards did you overvalue and undervalue from Spark of Rebellion? I don't know if saying like I undervalued it is maybe a stretch, because I did think it was a good card, but Force Throw has just like done leaps and bounds. Because at first I was like, it's kind of hard to stick like with a Force unit on the board, like it's hard to get that effectiveness from it, and like I was especially trying it in Villain at first too, and Villain Force users are very hard to stick to the board. But been using it with Churret and stuff like that, so it's been very, very good in that sense. So it was like thought it was a good card, and now I'm like, this might be a top 5 card in the set for me.
Going off of what you're saying, the opposite end of that spectrum is I think I really wanted Force Lightning to be great, but like you just said, the Force package in Red Villain, I mean in Villain in general, really kind of is weak. Not that the cards themselves are weak, it's just that the pool
They just don't
is
stay
weak.
around.
They're not.
Yeah.
They don't stay around. It's not consistent. It's not easy to get them out, right? Because it's 3, 5, 7.
Well,
You can use
2.
Guardian of the Wills.
Leaders.
2, yeah.
Leaders,
leaders.
but like the villain leaders too. Like you've got Palp at 8, Vader at 7. So I mean, it then becomes a late game card, which, okay, that's fine. But I mean, I haven't really found a lot of good spots for it to play in an opportune.
Yeah. There's
scenario.
only like a few cards where it's also useful to use to remove the ability too. Like even like not even using the damage part of it. So like what? Churret's a good one.
K2 is a good one, I
Kill,
guess.
K2's a good one, but like now it's like there's certain specific cards where it's good into, but you're not getting the full value, which stinks.
Drop 1 for to remove a Sentinel, but like,
Yeah.
it's just Spec Force without the body.
Yeah,
So,
Spec Force
for
at least
villain.
gives you a 2 cost, yeah, or 2 damage, yep.
So that's my pick.
Any
I'll
other
say,
overrunners?
I'll say like Force Choke was one that I thought the drawback of giving your an opponent a card was going to be more of a deterrent to playing it, but in the reality and like the what we've talked about, like not getting the discount, it costing 2. No, it doesn't matter. 5 damage is just very, very, very valuable, makes math very, very like convenient for you in a lot of circumstances, whether it's like, oh, there goes Sabine, or just even like say like some of the 4/7 leaders, like you attack with your little Colonel, your Lauren, and then force choke it, it's dead. Like it just it math works out really well for you. So like giving them a card is really the thing that you're worried about least.
I also want to go ahead.
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm
Go
going to
ahead.
change
I already,
subject.
I already
Keep
went. Oh, I just wanted to say I also think that Emperor's Royal Guard has really impressed me. Specifically in Palpatine. Everything else it's okay. But in Palpatine it's like a star player I almost play around
So good.
getting Emperor's Royal Guard online because it just deters so many things. So
Yeah, your turn 1 plays are almost like, all right, how many officials can I squeeze in without this deck
Yeah.
being terrible?
right. Yeah,
The,
and
the answer is like
Piet's on the line.
9 if you really want to, sacrifice your aggro matchup.
Yeah. The second we start putting Piets in is when I'm like, okay, all right, do we really need them? Like,
Piet like has sucks.
I mean, he's amazing if you get him out at the end of the game and have
He
a
sucks. Like for
guard
the reason I want him in there, like it's not
yeah.
worth it. So go ahead, Flock. Sorry.
No, so I was gonna say I don't have really a specific card, but the one thing that was a downside for me was upgrades. I had a huge hope for upgrades, and I would say Spark of Rebellion. It's been a huge disappointment just because of control being there, where it's like you want to put some in there, but like you're like the only one you really want to put in is like maybe one upgrade. Other than that, it's like it feels bad. So I would say that's the one thing I was really having high hopes for in the beginning, getting upgrades out there. But yeah,
next set maybe. See how that shakes out.
yep.
I mean,
Well, I'm
there's a lot
hoping
more
next set.
upgrades in
There's
the
a
next
lot more
set.
upgrades.
Seems
So
like.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, upgrades are they're tough because if the unit gets removed, you're doubly punished,
yep, exactly.
and there's a lot of instances like there's just removal's good. That's why
Yeah.
that Blue Vader just won that event, playing a lot of those like up and you die, and you die.
Yep. All right. Next question is from Adam and says, "Are you seeing any power creep as Set 2 spoilers have been releasing recently?"
Nah,
No.
Not really. Feels
I,
pretty good.
I could see the
It seems
argument
like
that
a
some of
lot-
these cards are like better, but they're maybe a little bit more like I think Jeremy was no, Tyler was saying it because Tyler was on this week. It's like you could argue some of these Set 2 cards are better than Set 1, but Set 1 is generally like this card does this thing. It's very simple and it's like decently statted. Where it's like Set 2, it's like this card might be better, but you might need to like think a little bit more about how you're using it, type thing, like a little bit more setup. So
That just like goes back to our conversation about Obi-Wan versus the Mandalorian, and which you'd rather use in which situation and which is better and XYZ.
bro, shield that follower of the way, and then he gets +1/+1, dude.
yeah, it's like if you look at the dark, the phase 3 Dark Trooper, you're like, oh well, that's like instantly you can just slot that in over the the cell block guard, and it's like, is that power creep? Not really, because they're
Nope.
they're pretty much like almost the same as each other. It's just there's like a tiny little baby step of upside. And then like you take a look at like something like IG-11. IG-11 might be the one where you're just like, yeah, no, he actually is like better than the other 5-cost cards, but you weren't running the 5-cost card, the 5-cost units in outside of like Steadfast and things like that in a lot of decks. So it's like, is it
Seven
power
Sister.
creep? He's better than
In a specific. Well, and also
Yeah.
the 5 costs like had ECL stapled to them. So like Zeb was good
Yeah.
with ECL and like Rook was good
Yeah.
with ECL, but it was like the second you took that away, it was like, I don't know if I really want to like soft play this.
Yeah, almost any of them in a lot of cases.
Yeah. Rook's a little bit like the two Brian mentioned are different simply because of Grand Inquisitor. Like in my mind, I'm like, oh, I don't mind playing them, but I can almost always stand them that turn anyways.
Actually, I lied. There is power creep. It's 4-fingered Grogu.
Yeah, it's fair.
That is a huge power creep in set
Yeah.
2.
And some of the ones I had seen like originally compare. Well, so first off, like people look at Hunter and already saying he's like the worst leader ever printed, which I'm not there. He's middle of the road currently for me, but it'll depend on how the set shakes out. But people saying like L3 is already power creep because you compare it to the Crafty Smuggler, but you would expect that double aspect cards and a unique card are going to be better than a single aspect non-unique card because she can be shielded or she can do whatever her other thing is.
Rescue a captured unit.
Rescue, yeah. And if she doesn't rescue, she then gets a shield, so it's argued that,
And she's also unique.
Yeah, that's what, yeah. She's double aspect, she's unique, whereas Crafty's single aspect and not. And she can also be smuggled in for 4, if you want.
Yeah, but I don't think they have. That's.
Well,
I guess if you need to if you need to
free.
rescue something.
Yeah. The flex.
I'm not saying anything else because we're getting into spoiler.
Yeah, now we
territory.
just got to go to the spoiler.
You should just swap
you
over,
Need to
you
watch,
know?
Just swap.
you just need to watch the spoiler.
If this enticed you at all, you
Yeah,
know where to go
baby.
next.
All right, hopping over Facebook or the last few. Nathan says, will the crew be at Red Caps for the store showdown on the 25th? Me, likely not.
Oh, I forgot that was a thing.
So they actually have so they have the 1K this Saturday, but they also have
I
the
will
showdown. So Scott will be there.
I have to check my very, very busy social calendar.
Brian's gonna make plans a week out. Be like, oh, I can't make it. I got this.
Yeah, he's got episode 2 of Star Wars to watch in
Episode 2,
theaters.
Bro, honestly, if they did, I wish I was watching episode 2 this weekend. Episode 1 is kind of mid.
Bro,
They're bad.
pod racing.
Yeah, that's
Anyway.
what makes it mid.
Oh, that's what makes it
You'll
amazing.
get me
I need the last 20 minutes. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Flock, are you going?
Maybe, I don't know.
Possibly. I know that weekend is a busy weekend for me, so I'm not 100% sure yet.
Word.
All you suck.
Eldest says, when can he be a special guest for gameplay? Eldest is local to us. He came on for some Golden Dice gameplay back in the Destiny days, and I already told him, I was like, soon. It's just hard because the setup's smaller, so we can only really have like 3 people without somebody sitting out for like 2 best of 3s at a time, and getting mixed matchups and stuff like that. So
Take
we'll
my
definitely
spot,
have to
it's
have you over, have some rotation in there.
People will not be mad if I miss.
They like the salty boy, dude.
They like the salty boy.
Sorry. Not sorry. But I am sorry.
And then Pete has 2 questions, and it says, when can we see more Twin Sons gameplay? I'll just answer that first and just say, hopefully soon. You know, we like to at least, if we could get like a video out of that of like maybe once a month, or like, you know, or like 2 videos of that once a month or something along those lines, I think is a decent bar for us to set. But then he also asked, what's the most spicy spoiler so far? I feel like it's got to be Tech.
Yeah.
Because he is just so interesting to me in that.
Yep.
You can look at some of these other ones and just say they're good or bad. I also haven't fully I haven't taken in a lot of the spoilers that we got today, and we got, I think, 7 today, including
3,
Hunter.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I actually really like Echo.
We got 10 today.
No,
I think Echo's pretty interesting.
we got
Oh,
Hunter, Echo, and Deathwatch, Ruthless, and Casca, and then
Yeah,
Cripple,
8.
Authority, and Omega.
Yeah, Echo's really, really good.
I like Echo a lot. He's
Yeah.
actually
Echo's really
super
interesting.
like ECL target of, you know, he's a
Yeah.
one played, so you can like ECL him in, discard him from hand, you know, another copy, give him 2 experience, restore 2, and now it's a 6/6 on the board.
4/6/6 with Restore too. Like he's just like worst Luke on a stick. I think he's really interesting. I think you can do some interesting lines with him. But I do agree that I think Tech is very interesting as well. And Tech is something to build a deck around, whereas Echo can kind of just slot in. So
I love that. Yeah, we'll save it. I'll save it.
Yeah. I got some stuff to say, but I'm going to save it too.
Any other spicy cards that stand out?
No, the spicy meat.
the 1 cost event that I'm not going to say its name.
Yeah, we can't say that name.
I'll just say 1. I think Omega's pretty spicy. Not going to lie.
Yeah, I like her.
I agree. I like Omega a lot too.
I got some thoughts on that. We'll talk about it in the spoiler video, but Omega is pretty good.
Before we say, I'll save my thought for the spoiler video 5 more times. So we're gonna go ahead and call it here. And
seriously.
Join us in the spoiler video.
Appreciate everybody watching. Yeah, we do break it up just for like time's sake, but they'll be both coming out on Friday just to do. I don't want to be sitting on spoiler reviews, and same thing with podcasts. We talked about what we're playing this coming weekend. It'd be dumb if it released after. So appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We're on all the different podcasts. If you do prefer to listen there, and you're on YouTube currently, you know we're on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, all that good stuff. I think those are the same things, but I don't know. I signed us up for everything. But yeah, appreciate you tuning in. Best of luck at your showdowns as those get going. Best of luck at hitting May 4th 1Ks, 5Ks, 4Ks, whatever you might be having. And we will catch y'all next time.
Tree Fitty.